James, your host. Welcome to Vintage Bricks. We're going back to the year 2019, and this was the first series of designer sets, and they came out with this castle, Löwenstein's Castle by Rosell Regulus. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. And this castle fulfills two important things, and I'm going to read what Rosell wrote about it back then. Directly from his PDF. He wanted to make the first buyable, the key there, authentic Lego castle set ever. So Rosell was going after historical authenticity, and why this castle I think is very pivotal in the evolution of Lego castles is that in 2019 this type of castle that was made for adults with all this detail just didn't exist in the Lego realm. And so we'll go through and we can appreciate the 5 sections of Rosell's castle, the Löwenstein Castle. Now Löwenstein, although a town in Germany and used to have a castle, that castle is long destroyed. He put together a castle based on the major features of medieval castles, which of course I find so fascinating. And now that I've gone through this castle, I can go back and look at the castles, like the Yellow Castle from 1978, up through the Black Knight's castles, even to today's adult castle, the 10305, the Lion Knight's castle behind me. I can start seeing features of those castles that I learned about in this castle. So I think we're on for a great little journey. If you make it to the end, you'll see my excitement. I tape my unboxing or deboxing, whatever they call it, take this apart because I've had this for 5 years and it's pretty darn exciting to finally put it together for us. So I've enjoyed this and hope you enjoyed the video. As we get into the build, one thing about this designer set from 2019, it actually came with a manual. Now when you get designer sets and you buy those, you have to use the PDF. It was pretty fun to have this huge manual detail. I just love that. The castle, we build it in 5 separate sections. And first we do the kind of the base of it. Before this time, there weren't a lot of raised base plate castles unless you had bought those preformed ones that came with some of the early castle sets. Well, let's not forget the minifigures, 3 minifigures. Got Mom and Dad and the little boy. And I'm sure they had a lot of helpers around you don't see. And Dad, of course, was all about defending the castle. And look, he married a little princess. And the little boy looks like he's ready to, go gardening or something. Nice little family. Our first section is the outer bailey, the part of the castle where the commoners would be, the serfs would be with their animals, but they were safe within walls. So for each of these sections, I'm going to go over some of the key features. For this one, I'm going to talk about the portcullis and the merlons or crenellations on the castle wall. Now we've all seen these portcullises in castles since the beginning of Lego Castle. This one was pretty cool because of that special technique, raising and lowering. And like we mentioned, these was a safe place for the animals to wander, and this had a hen house and a place for a horse stable also. Now the stone walls around the castle, the curtain walls, had a very distinctive feature, which are called merlons. And Gene and I have been around a few castles, and almost all of them have these little crenellations or merlons. And I didn't know what those were. I just thought they were kind of cool. Pretty easy to make with Lego bricks. I love the Moorish castle in Sintra we saw. So we can see how merlons are a key feature of castle sets. So there we go. We're going to leave the outer bailey and move to the key part of the castle, the Great Hall. This is where they had their banquets, upstairs where people lived. Our new set, the 10305, the Lion Knight's Castle, has a really well-developed Great Hall. Well, Regulus, when he designed this, he didn't have a lot of bricks to work with. So we're going to call this the Little Great Hall. It's still the Great Hall and has all the features, but just pretty abbreviated. As you spin it around, you can see you have to go over that drawbridge to get in. There's actually a little baby moat too. The key sections are the murder hole and the bedchamber and, of course, the kitchen. So let's go through and take a look here at the murder hole. This is kind of a fun defensive thing. If you made it this far into the castle, they could drop things out through the ceiling on top of you to dissuade you from going any further. Here's like the little trap. Eating room and the kitchen and the dining hall all put together in one little section here. They have a lot of detail here though. And here we are in Chenonceau in the Loire Valley in France. They had a beautiful kitchen here, which was more of a classical kind of thing. You could go down some steps into the cellar. Got a bat there in the cellar, and it had this fancy little secret entrance out of the side of the mountain. I think the guy's sneaking in. The bedchamber, 4-post bed. These, were pretty fancy in a lot of castles. If you were wealthy, and if you're well-to-do, you had crown glass. And a really nice detailed touch they put into the little Great Hall. We move out of the Great Hall to a section of the castle. Almost all Lego castles from the very beginning had a central courtyard called the Inner Bailey. Here I'm in Slovenia in the Blood Castle in the Inner Bailey there. And we're leaving the doors of the Great Hall into the Inner Bailey. A little grass there. I've outlined it here so you can kind of picture what that's like. What's behind that door? Ah, the Thunderbox. What a detail. It has a little toilet, which is, of course, people had to do business back then, and it had the overhanging on the outside there. There's a well. It's nice to have an interior well. You need your water there, and you would go from the Inner Bailey up the steps to the keep. The keep was the main protected area of the castle, the place of last resort. And, of course, they had a place here they would put you, which is the Oubliette, which is a dungeon, and of course treasury here. And if you got in here and you were captured, they might want to put you down through that hole until you told all your secrets. That little villager is ready to tell his secrets. Well, that completes our tour I'm going to do, but you can see how this detail, we're used to it today, but back in when this was released in 2019, the first castle that had this level of detail. And there's even more because he was limited to 2,000 pieces. I think he had a bigger plan here, and there's another 1,700 piece edition, which you could find on the Bricklink studio. And as the ending bonus, my unboxing. Oh yeah, this is very exciting. What if I have this upside down? We'll find out when I open it up here. Oh yeah, it's upside down. Let me turn it over. Okay, what do we have in here? A thank you card and some other finalists. That's really nice. Look at this bad boy. These early sets came with instruction books. Now you gotta download the PDF, which I don't mind doing, but look at this. This will be exciting to go through that, which is fine because I have lots of minifigures. And we'll put the set together and then come back and talk about the different parts of it. Thank you for visiting Vintage Bricks. I've enjoyed our time together. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.